Well, it is mid-April, and today I am taking some soil samples to get a soil test done on a couple different food plots. And of course, I forgot my soil probe, but I do have this narrow shovel and it's going to work. I want about 6 inches of soil depth, and then I'm going to take it from multiple locations in the plot, mix it together in the bucket, and then I'll fill up this card here, or this bag I should say. And it actually has a fill line where the dashed line is, so and then we'll get these sent away, and then we'll have a better idea of what the pH is. And I know this field is going to need some more lime. It was plantation pine like we see in the background, so I have added some lime, but it's still going to need to be fine-tuned. So the sooner we can get the lime down, the quicker it can start breaking down and prepare for a fall food plot in this location. So to use this narrow shovel, first I just dig a little bit of soil out of there, and then that way I can just cut a slice, and then we got about 6 inches, and we can see the difference in colors of the soil layers. And I would say this has got quite a bit of iron in it, is my assumption, but we can see, you know, even with the sandy soil, I do have some nice dark stuff at the top because I do my best not to till the soil. But so again, I'm going to put about 6 of these in the bucket, then mix them together to fill up a bag. I've already done one, but to fill up a bag to the fill line. And I got the supervisor here to make sure I do everything right. So as we're out here taking a few soil samples, I just want to show you, you know, with my food plots, I do try to leave some beneficial trees and shrubs. And we got an oak here, and what do we see underneath it? A scrape. We have a cherry over here. It's going to provide some soft mass, but here another oak. And another scrape, and here we got a red oak over here, and we can see a scrape here, and it kind of works around here. And if we keep going, this was winter rye mostly last year, and it's got winter rye coming back, and that's providing some nutrition for the deer in the spring. And here we have another scrape, and another scrape, and another scrape, and back across here. A little bit of one underneath here, and then under this oak we have a scrape. It kind of just flows all together, but more scrape action this way. And this one's dug out quite a bit here, so lots of reasons that the bucks are scraping here. And here we have another one as well. And there you can see the ground blind I actually shot my buck last season out of. So I do like to leave a little bit of stuff in the plots. And what I've noticed, like even with this, just little, this has got some hazelnut and some oaks in here, but what I've noticed that can happen is when you have a buck chasing a doe during the rut and she's not quite receptive yet or whatever, by having some of this, sometimes the buck will start chasing the doe, and the doe will just do a little loop around this instead of leaving the field. And we got a few more scrapes here. But as compared to if this was all wide open, you know, the doe is more likely to be run completely off the field, and I'd rather keep her, especially as the rut's heating up in the field. So but I better get back to my soil tests or my soil sampling so I can send off for soil tests. Here we can see a hole that's been dug. Doesn't look like it's been used recently, but you can see how sandy the soil is. I get out of the shadows there. And this is, you know, not quite in the food plot. And so we can see a difference, you know, when it comes to soil quality in this area. And if we just look in the bucket, you can see some of the darker soil, but you know, when I showed it earlier, the sliver of it, you could see some darker soil. And that really stems from having a good crop growing in here. And again, winter rye can provide an increase of organic matter, especially if you're not continuously disking or tilling up the soil. And a lot of people think about organic matter of the stuff, the material that's on top of the soil, but a lot of it is really what the roots are. So, you know, with winter rye, they do have a deep root system and a lot of roots, so that's what can help increase my organic matter and make this sandy soil better. Here you can see how much darker the soil is. And again, you know, the soil from here came from deeper, and as we go deeper, we have more of this. But anyway, you know, when it comes to growing crops or food plots, I'd rather see something more like this. So this white stuff you can see on the soil is lime. And you know, this food plot, when it was cleared, lime was put down. So you know, it's not that deep in the soil, but it's still here, and there's still some on the surface. If you look hard enough, you can see some white flakes. So you know, it's nice to have some stuff that's going to break down quick, but it's also sometimes nice to have more of the larger chunks and stuff that are going to help maintain the soil pH and break down a little slower after you initially lime.